Today I want to make my video on a deep philosophical subject that pertains to Fourth Maccabees. But I've been working on my thesis all day and I am burnt out and I don't really want to deal with deep philosophical meditation right now. Sorry, I guess. I figured I'd, still make my video on today's Latin Mass readings in the classic 1962 Daily Missal. Today is the fourth Sunday after the Epiphany. And the epistle today is, for some reason was really, I want to talk about the epistle that was read today. It's Romans 13, 8 through 10. Brethren, owe no man anything but to love one another, for he that loveth his neighbor has fulfilled the law. For thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness, thou shalt not covet. And if there be any other commandment, it is compromised in this word: thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. The love of our neighbor worketh no evil. Love, therefore, is the fulfilling of the law. And I think there's a really big focus on that last line. Love, therefore, is the fulfilling of the law. And I don't think modern day Christians pay attention to that last line sometimes. I'm obviously one of those. I think we get so caught up in the sinner and not the sin. There's actually a really good quote from Martin Luther. He talks about how you shouldn't compare your holiness to someone else's sinness. Sinness, is that a word? Do you know what I mean though? We get so caught up in the actions of someone, and we sometimes don't show enough mercy and love to help them. And if love is therefore the fulfilling of the law, and we don't show love, are we fulfilling the law? I don't know, it was something I was thinking about. I think so much of Christianity is about love and about the feeling of love from God. And there's no human love that can match that love, right? I have a whole in the missal. There's a really weird. So usually it's set up with, the Latin and then the English for how you follow along during Mass, because the Latin Mass is fairly complicated. And there's this extra paragraph about Romans 13, 8 through 10 that is almost there's almost never these extra paragraphs, but it describes it. It says the law and love are in fact but one. For if the first three commandments of the Decalogue enjoin the love of God, the other seven obligate us as a logical consequence to love our neighbor, for God is in him. We are, by grace, in some measure, an extension of the humanity of Jesus. And this is something I've been trying to working on, is love thy neighbor. For example, like say you have like a beef with someone, or you have like an issue with someone. It can be really hard sometimes to put that aside and to love them and to pray for them, but is what the law calls us to do. And if we don't, we're not fulfilling what God wants us to do. Loving someone you have trouble loving or loving someone that's done something bad to you is impossibly challenging on all fronts. And when someone has faulted you for something that they've done, to go back and pray for them and to love them and to take no harm and no foul from them is excruciatingly hard. And it's been something I'm working on, especially right now, and with like anyone in my life, like that, even like little minor inconveniences that are very annoying to me, might make someone's day. Like, say for instance, I have to pick someone up, and I really don't want to at all. From my perspective, it's a massive inconvenience, and it's out of my way, and I don't want to do it. But to do it is to love that person, and to put them before you, which is what we're called to do by God. It's even just like a basic thing like that can be like incredibly challenging for us to do as Christians, even though that's the entire point of the religion, right? It's that sacrificing of yourself for someone else and an ideal, maybe. And this is something I've been trying to work on is loving thy neighbor, doing the thing for the extra person. I feel like I grew up very mean and selfish and cold. I've been trying to open myself up lately, like being a bright star in a dark world, and not just like consuming myself with darkness, like being like the nice person, being that stand-up person, and like even if someone wrongs me, to always I'm forgetting the term, be the bigger person. I can't believe I forgot that, but I did. Always be the bigger person. Something I'm just trying to work on. And today's traditional Latin Mass reading, Romans 13, 8 through 10, really spoke to me in that regard. God, when we call upon God, we expect this answer. And sometimes I think it's easiest to hear God when you're fulfilling his commandments, when you're going that extra mile to pick that person up. I feel like God is often right there to talk to you once you do it. He's so vivid and bright in those moments after doing something that you didn't want to do, but you helped someone out. You made an impact in someone's life. Loving thy neighbor. I feel like if you love thy neighbor, God is always willing to talk. And in today's society, sometimes God is very, very silent and can be quiet and can be hard to hear. But sometimes it is the fulfillment of the law he gave us that we can hear God the most. So, for me, that means being a social person, helping people, putting people before myself, before my own person. Not just being consumed with what I'm doing or what I'm working on or things in my life, but other people's things that will help them out, not just me. So I think that's today's video. It's Romans 13, 8 through 10, and we have to remember to always love our neighbor. We have to.